Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners for October 2nd, 2018. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, Chair of the Board this year. I'd like to start off by doing a few introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Laudina Beaumar, Clerk of the Board. To her right is the County Manager, Ramiro Chavez. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Edwards to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, if you'll join me in the pledge, and you can follow along because it's on the wall for anybody that wants to know out there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everybody. With that in mind, I'll ask if there's a motion to approve today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for October 2nd, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda for Tuesday, October 2nd, 2018. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. And is there a motion for the board meeting minutes for 25 September 2018?
Move to approve the board meeting minutes for September 25, 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes for September 25th, 2018. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries. Well, we had two presentations today. One is the emergency services, and the other one is a proclamation of Walk to School Month. And today for the emergency services, we have Mr. Kirk Hardin here. He's the Director of Emergency Services for Thurston County. And he's going to give us a little bit of background of just what this is all about and be able to celebrate and talk a little bit about it and the floods too, right?
Correct.
Okay, great.
So thank you, Commissioners. I'm here on behalf of the proclamation for this afternoon for the proclamation for Washington State Preparedness Month and Thurston County Flood Awareness Week. Part of the team that pulls this together is not only emergency management, emergency services, but also CPED, Community Planning and Economic Development. Josh Cummings could not be here today, so I'm representing CPED as well, and it's a great team effort that we put together. October is a busy month with the Washington State Preparedness Month, NOAA Radio Awareness Month, the Great Shakeout, and Thurston County Flood Awareness Month. Our activities include, during the week of October 15th, the Flood Awareness Month, an alert test to those who are signed up to receive river alerts within Thurston County. On October 18th, we're doing the Great Shakeout at 10:18 a.m. I'm hoping everybody here in the room at 10:18 on October 18th will be doing the drop, cover, and hold drill. On October 18th, we're doing a Map Your Neighborhood at the Emergency Coordination Center. On October 20th, the Corps of Engineers flood response and sandbag training is set at the ECC as well. On October 24th, a Rochester Community Tabletop will be coordinated by Providence to include Providence Medical Facility in Rochester, the American Red Cross, Faith Communities, Rochester Organization of Families, and the Chehalis Tribe. They've all been invited to participate. The tabletop is based on the Great Shakeout Drill. And then on October 22nd, we have the bi-monthly Faith Community Meeting. And then in addition, Community Planning and Economic Development, CPED, works as the county representative that works hard to achieve our high score on the National Flood Insurance Program Community Rating System, the CRS. And our high score, and we have one of the highest in the nation, not just the state, the nation. And so the hard work that CPED does, it means that for Thurston County property owners who have an NFIP program, they have saved approximately $570 per policy on flood insurance premiums, and that's equated to an annual savings of approximately $140,000 a year for our citizens inside of Thurston County. So CPED offers a service to citizens also to help determine the appropriate flood protection levels for their property, including flood vents, home elevation, heating equipment, appliances, and electrical panels. County staff can be reached at 360-867-2123 to schedule a time that they can come out and visit their property. Citizens can help ensure stormwater facilities are most effective by keeping the drains near their property free of leaves, yard waste, and debris. And let's please do not sweep home materials or hose materials into the street or gutters, especially during the rainy season. So all during the month, messaging to remind the citizens of winter weather preparedness and flood insurance will be processed and sent out as well. And part of that communications outreach strategy will be through Map Your Neighborhood training. The members of the county-wide Emergency Management Council are distributing information in their communities. We're using social media and media releases to put information out to everybody during the month. We've got working with the State of Washington Emergency Management Division on messaging for the Great Shakeout and encouraging community sign up and to participate. We've already mentioned the community tabletop exercise on October 24th in Rochester. We're working to get that information out to all the organizations there. And we're talking about the October 15th as Flood Awareness Week. So overall, it's a busy month. We are excited to have the proclamation and also working with our teammates, CPED, to bring this process forward.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments of Kurt?
Thanks for all your hard work, Kurt.
No, the same with the same compliment to you and also CPED, the whole team at CPED. Thank you.
With that in mind, I was having him read the motion. Not the motion, but the resolution.
Proclamation.
Yeah, proclamation.
Washington State Preparedness Month and Flood Awareness Week. Whereas Thurston County has experienced disasters in the past, and scientific evidence indicates that our county remains vulnerable to natural and human-caused disasters in the future. And whereas loss of life and property damage can be significantly reduced if citizens are prepared for disasters, including readiness to be self-sufficient for a minimum of 2 weeks, and take appropriate measures before, during, and after a disaster. And whereas floods are the most prevalent natural hazard in Thurston County, with 18 federal disaster declarations since 1962 related wholly or in part to flooding. And whereas the citizens of our county should be educated and prepared for flood safety and property protection measures, and county agencies along with employees should be prepared to provide essential public services after disasters and be prepared to support the county's response and recovery mission. And whereas Thurston County promotes that citizens obtain disaster-related information through the county's alert notification system, fact sheets, training, the annual Thurston County Flood Bulletin, the county website and social media sites, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, NOAA, weather radio, which includes emergency alert system broadcasts. And whereas Thurston County's top-rated floodplain management programs have helped reduce flood damage and also encourages property owners and residents in flood hazard areas to obtain reduced flood insurance to be better prepared financially in case of flooding. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaim that Thurston County will observe Washington State Preparedness Month and NOAA Weather Radio Month during the month of October, and will participate in the Great Shakeout Earthquake Drill on October the 18th, 2018 at 10:18 a.m. And further proclaims the week of October 15th, 2018 as Washington State Preparedness Month and Flood Awareness Week in Thurston County, State of Washington, and urges all citizens to take steps to prepare for the impacts of natural and human-caused disasters in their homes, businesses, and schools. Adopted this second day of October 2018, your Board of County Commissioners.
Yay. I do have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the preparedness expo that happened this weekend in Tenino?
This past Saturday. Very well received, very successful. Emergency management staff came together and put on the expo on Saturday. I don't have the numbers, final numbers of how many people attended, but I got reports from people who were texting me. I was in Florida at the time, but I got reports of people texting me of attending it and the number of people that were there in the crowds.
It's an annual event?
That's an annual event that we put on every month because September is also Preparedness Month.
And it rotates from location to location?
Yeah, exactly. It was in Lacey this last year. This year was in Tenino. We'll have a new venue this upcoming year because we want to rotate it around the county.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah. And so you want to take a photo? Yay. Take a photo. Come on.
Take a picture.
Take a picture.
Thought we were getting some of our folks here. They're not here, apparently.
Well, people are busy.
Everybody's busy.
Kurt's not busy.
I would say that.
You're right here in the middle, Kurt.
No, exactly.
You're in the middle.
Get in the middle.
Okay.
I put Kurt in the middle. 1, 2. All right.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kurt.
Okay, that was a outstanding presentation on the emergency services. The next one's a fun one, and it's the Proclamation Walk to School Month. And I'll ask Chris Hawkins to come to the podium. Chris is a program manager here with the county. He does this program annually. He's going to tell us a little bit about it and all the schools that are related and the fun stuff. Go ahead, Chris.
Great. Thank you very much, Commissioners, and good afternoon. Thank you very much for your recognition of this occasion here in Thurston County. Each October is Walk to School time around our county, and this is part of a regional and local effort to stimulate more physical activity on the part of local residents, starting with young people and their families. And so that opportunity to be physically active can be really built into everyone's day by taking that chance to go for a walk with your kids to and from school. So that's really the point of Walk to School Day, which is actually on October 10th. And at least 10 schools around Thurston County are participating in that this year. Many of those within the cities of Lacey, Olympia, and Tumwater, with support from Intercity Transit and their Walk and Roll program. We're working with a couple of schools in South County, as well as a couple in around Tanglewild in the northeast part of Thurston County, and supporting their efforts to improve conditions for kids walking to and from school. Making those conditions safer is a big part of the Thurston Thrives community design strategy, calling for safer routes for people to walk. And so this is really a part of that overall Thurston Thrives effort, and also it's all in our development plans calling for improved walking conditions. So a lot of good things happening in Thurston County. You may have heard that at Lydia Hawk Elementary School in Lacey, where we've done this event the last several years, there's now a new sidewalk and some improved crossings thanks to the efforts of Thurston County Public Works. So we're going to be celebrating that with that school. So thank you very much for your recognition of this, and happy that you're proclaiming this Walk to School Month.
Any comments or questions of Chris?
No, I think Chris might have wrote this proclamation himself. I see you got a little bicycling in there and some air pollution issues. So good job. You are dedicated to your job, sir. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm glad it emphasizes safety, because the weather's inclement, gets darker earlier, icky stuff.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad we're doing that. Icky stuff, yeah, for kids walking to school, yeah.
Right. A big part of health is injury prevention as well as that physical activity. So safety and health go really hand in hand, and that's what this is about.
So thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
So this is Walk to School. Just kind of give us a day in the life of walking to school. Pick a particular scenario where kids gather. Just kind of walk us through the process and how it happens. And
Yeah, a typical Walk to School Day event will be meeting up with groups of kids and families at a couple of locations nearby a school, usually within a half mile, so that group can walk together into the school. There will be a couple people dressed like me, very brightly colored clothing or safety vests, usually a banner and some colored crossing flags to help the group stay safe. But really the increased visibility of walking in a group is really important for safety. Also is an encouragement and social opportunity for kids and families. So that's how Walk to School Day is usually done. After walking in as a group and having that 10-15 minutes of good activity for that distance, then we usually do some kind of a safety talk when we arrive at the school site, giving kids pointers about how they can keep themselves safe and keep doing this throughout the year. And then we let them go to class or to their breakfast if they're having that at school. And it's generally a really fun event. A lot of people participating, and including law enforcement and other supporters in the
principals and teachers.
That's right.
All of those are involved. Yeah.
Right. And so during the rest of the year, we hope that people will continue to do this. And so they can form up what's called a walking school bus, which is a very similar idea of getting a group of people that walks the same route together into school each day. Again, that's enhancing the encouragement, but also improving safety by making people really visible when they're out there walking. And that helps motorists recognize that there's a group of people walking. And keeps everybody safer.
Well, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
You bet.
And I'm glad you included, there's so many other groups that are involved in this as well. It's not just one entity doing it, not just the schools either, or public
Right.
health. Ready?
Yeah, sure.
Walk to School Month. Whereas the health, lives, and safety of the Thurston County youth, Thurston County's youth can be protected if communities take steps to make pedestrian safety a priority. And whereas a lack of physical activity plays a main role in obesity, diabetes, and other health problems among children, and walking or bicycling to school is an opportunity for daily activity. And whereas it is important for parents and caregivers to teach children about safe walking and to become aware of challenges children face on their way to school and health risks related to travel, physical inactivity, and air pollution. And whereas community members and leaders should work together to construct missing sidewalk connections and improve street crossings in neighborhoods around elementary, middle, and high schools. And whereas Thurston County partners with school districts, intercity transit, Thurston County Safe Kids, Thurston Regional Planning Council, and other local organizations to provide safe routes to school programming in many public schools of Thurston County, and has received Washington State Department of Transportation Safe Routes to School grants to make improvements in the Thurston County neighborhoods. And whereas Thurston Thrives, the community's initiative to improve the health of all Thurston County residents, identifies safe routes to schools as a main community design strategy to increase opportunities for local residents to be active every day. And whereas in October, children, parents, school employees, and community leaders from around the world are joining together for walk to school events to increase awareness about health and other benefits of walking to school, such as an increased readiness to learn, reduced traffic congestion, and improved air quality. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners proclaims October as Walk to School Month, invites participation in Walk to School Day on Wednesday, October 10th, 2018, and encourages everyone to consider the health and safety of children this month and throughout the year. Signed the second day of October, 2018.
Yay.
Thank you.
Okay, walk.
Yep. Do we want a picture?
Yes.
Come on up, Chris.
I was waiting for you to answer.
Want to do a picture? Chris. With his yellow bumblebee jacket on.
You did write that.
Good job. You get in the middle.
You're in the middle. You get to hold that. You get the.
You smiling?
Bam, bam, bam. Thank you, sir.
Good job.
So the next item we have on the agenda is the opportunity for the public to address the board. Before we get to that portion of the list, just read off a few guidelines here. There's 3 minutes. Labanito put the 3 minutes up there. Your time is not donated. You cannot donate your time. We ask you to silence your cell phones, and of course, if there's any lewd, offensive, or inflammatory comments, that's not acceptable. And if there's anything to do with any kind of permits, such as those that might come to the board for appeal, I ask you to stop, and then we'll go to a different day and time when there's an actual hearing for that particular subject. So with that in mind, and see if Romero has a comment. So.
Yes, no electioneering during your public testimony, please.
All right, so I have the list here, and for those that have first come, first serve, and I'll just go down the list. When you come to the podium, state your first and last name and generally where you're from in the county. And so I have the first person is Doug Carmen.
Thank you. I'm Doug Carmen. I represent the Shoreline Stakeholders Coalition. And as shoreline homeowners in unincorporated Thurston County, we continue to have issues with not only the draft SMP, but also the process of updating. Following are some specifics. Almost a year ago, you instructed the planning department to add residential stakeholders to the review process in order to make sure the property owner perspective was taken into account prior to presentation to the Planning Commission and the BoCC. This was partially done. Shoreline Stakeholders Coalition and environmental groups were invited to attend the 2 meetings of the STAG, or a meeting with the Planning Department. But the many pages and comments were not incorporated or considered in inclusion in changing the SMP draft. We haven't seen anything from that. There was no real meaningful discussion, and the participation was suspended after the two meetings. This is counter to your direction to the Planning Department and was not required by ecology. Taking comments but doing nothing with them is like not taking any comments at all. In fact, it insults those people who have spent hundreds of hours to try to help to make this SMP effective and workable. Stakeholders have basically been shut out. It has now been 2 months since the complete draft of the SMP was available for review. We have repeatedly asked the Planning Department when we can expect revised timelines for the review, comment, and the resumption of dialogue with the stakeholders. No timeline was given. We have been told that staff is awaiting additional feedback from the Board of County Commissioners on the schedule and time limit. Are you aware of the ball's in your court? Is Brad Murphy being held accountable? We don't know. Work sessions are required to help the Planning Commissioners and the BoCC to understand, comment, question, and give directions on the draft SMP. Documented work sessions do not meet the definition. Work sessions on the SMP have been nothing more than inadequate PowerPoints presentations made by the Planning Department. This meets no definition of a work session that we have ever been a part of or seen. The impression we get is that the Planning Department is expected to just rubber stamp whatever the Planning Commissioners are expected to just rubber stamp anything the Planning Department presents. Work sessions should deal with the major issues, comments made by stakeholders so the Commissioners can give their direction. There are hundreds of pages of comments on the SMP from stakeholders. These probably could be narrowed down into 5 pages. However, we do not see a process bringing those comments to the surface so the Planning Commission and the BoCC can review and make decisions. What is the process? We have no idea. In conclusion, this is a picture of a plaque on the Planning Department's wall. The last 3 words under our mission is transparency and accountability. We don't see any of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your words, sir.
Hey, Doug, can you get a copy? Oh, thank you.
So the next person I have is Phyllis Farrell.
Greetings, Commissioners. I'm Phyllis Farrell from the Sunwood Lakes area of unincorporated Thurston County. After attending the briefing this morning, I want to encourage you to move forward on the interlocal agreement with the Regional Climate Mitigation Plan. This plan would provide a really, it seems to me, unique and historic opportunity to work collaboratively with other jurisdictions within the county. This collaboration could improve our environment, public health, energy use, transportation, jobs, housing, as well as economic development. In order to reach the targets adopted by the county and the cities, action needs to start as soon as possible. County staff could identify early actions the county can take so those actions can be included in your 2019 budget and work plans for 2020. So I would really encourage you to move forward with that as the gist of the conversation this morning indicated. On another note, after listening to the SMP Shoreline Management Program briefing this morning, I support the staff recommendation to extend the hearing dates to allow public comment in the drafts being considered by the Planning Commission. Ann Van Swearingen, who represents the environmental community, has spent hours and submitted extensive comments, and I think you'd be remiss if adequate public comment was not allowed and the procedure was rushed. So I encourage you to kind of continue the thoughts that you seem to have this morning to extend that to, I think, December 19th, Planning Commission date. And I want to thank you for your consideration and your service. in what must be really complicated, difficult, and challenging jobs. So thank you for what you do. And I'd like to also extend that to the staff. I've been amazed at the meetings that I go to, kind of as a citizen observer and activist, how hardworking and competent and responsive the staff has been. So thank you again for all you do.
Thank you for your words today, Phyllis.
Yeah, that's great.
Next, I have Chris Van Dahl. Hello, Chris. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Chairman Blake, Commissioners Hutchings and Edwards. Thank you for giving us a chance to speak today. My name is Chris Van Dalen. I'm the Executive Director for a nonprofit called the Northwest Eco Building Guild. We've been here in Thurston County, but all throughout the Northwest for more than 25 years, promoting green building and energy efficiency in construction. And I'm here today to also to echo the support for your work on the Regional Climate Mitigation Plan. It is a real opportunity not just to help address a critical issue of climate change and other environmental questions that arise for us, but also to stimulate our economy. Green building and electrified transportation, all the other solutions to climate change are opportunities to draw businesses and to save money here in the Northwest, to save money on energy, to attract the kind of innovation economy that we're looking for through our work with the South Puget Sound Community College and other organizations. A real opportunity to align our environmental values as well as our economic goals for job creation and business development. I want to say that it's really, I think, important that we get going on this. And there's actually some things that we can do right away that we already know. For example, in the work that I do with energy efficiency in buildings and renewable energy, there's real obvious solutions that are ready right now. We have seen through data, through the last 10 years of research, that that green building actually, while it may be perceived to cost more, in a lot of cases can actually be equivalent in cost to traditional construction, especially when you take into consider the long-term energy savings. And so, we have cost-effective solutions that are ready to go now. And I think if you look to putting some of these early actions on the climate mitigation plan and get them into the hopper for 2019 so that it can be included in the 2020 budget. We don't need to wait a full 18 months to get the scope of work number 2 all lined out and researched. I mean, there's a lot of nuances in there, but some of the things are crystal clear, and we should be moving on those as soon as we can, both for the environment's sake and for our opportunity to stimulate our economy. I also want to echo Phyllis's comments about the staff and the work of the county commissioners. You guys have been exemplary on this issue and a lot of other things. So the crossover with housing, the crossover with transportation issues and active lifestyles. I mean, all of these things are connected to the way that we use energy, and if we can reduce energy use through efficiency and other things like that, we can actually achieve a lot of the goals that your staff and you guys have been working toward across those issues, affordable housing, making housing more affordable. Thank you.
Thank you for your words today, sir. So that completes the list. For those who signed in, I'll just ask by a show of hands in the audience that'd like to come to the podium to address the board. And I see no one showing their hands, so we'll just move on with the next item on the agenda, which is the county manager's update. And I'll turn to Romero and see if he's got anything to say.
Thank you, Commissioners. Yes, I'd like to close the loop on the Department of Justice grant, also known as the BURN grant. As a matter of background, Thurston County has been receiving this grant annually for many, many years. And the purpose of utilizing this grant has been for improving public defense technology to reduce delays in court proceedings, reducing the numbers and size of paper files, increasing coordination across the county criminal justice system, increasing efficiencies and professionalism during the pretrial, trial, sentencing, and other court proceedings. So as every year, this grant opportunity came to us this year, and with a 2018 award of $25,000. And the intent of using this grant was for a new case management system used by the prosecuting attorney office in public defense. As part of the requirement of this particular grant, there needed to be a public comment period, which you set out to be a couple of weeks ago, and the public comment period ended last Tuesday, September 25th. So since this particular grant has been on an annual basis, it was just included on the consent agenda of your board meeting of September 25th, 2018. In the morning of September 25th, 2018, I reported to you the number of public testimony that we received on this particular grant. And the gist of the public testimony was some of the requirements that perhaps this grant had related to ICE cooperation, meaning related to illegal immigrants. So you've heard the public testimony, and in the morning of the September 25th, last Tuesday, you decided to pull this agenda out of the consent agenda, and you directed me to work with the Office of the Prosecuting Attorneys and go through a legal review of this particular certification. In this past week, it has been some information that has materialized, and in fact, there has been some requirements associated with this particular grant that has changed in 2017 and has carried on the 2018 grant. This is not new for Thurston County nor Washington State, and this particular requirements, as far as I understand, is being challenged by other jurisdictions across the nation as to the requirements, whether it's the legality or not. And as a result of that conversation, there is a lot of unknowns associated with this grant at this point. And the prosecutor attorney, John Thunheim, has recommended to you, which I present the recommendation this morning, to forego the 2017 grant as well as not to pursue the 2018 grant. You had a conversation this morning. You heard the comments behind that, as I stated, and you decided this morning to concur with the recommendation of the prosecutor attorney, John Thunheim, not to accept the 2017 BIRD grant money and not to pursue the 2018 BIRD grant money. So I'd just like to close the loop with this particular matter. This grant comes to the county on a yearly basis. We will see next year in 2019 what, if any, additional requirements are associated with this grant. And at that point, you will be in the position to make another decision on this particular grant in the future. Any questions?
Any questions? No.
Yeah, thank you for that. But I would also add, any future application, federal application for a grant, should have a full legal review before it gets to the commission.
Yeah, and that is the due diligence that we as a staff, we need to do. And certainly, I have taken that as a direction for me, and we'll do our best to meet the intent of your comment.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Any other comments or nothing? Let's move on to consent items. So we have consent items A through D. And if there's a motion to approve consent items A through D.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through D.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve consent items A through D. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. So we'll move into department items. The first one is item number 4. And so for Public Health and Social Services, we have Carrie Hennon. She is looking for approval of the Healthcare Authority Division of Behavioral Health Program County Agreement 1863-34846. That's a lot there, but Carrie's going to tell us a little bit about it so we can have some background.
All right, thanks. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Carrie Hennon. I'm a program manager with the Department of Public Health and Social Services. So yes, I'm here today to ask your approval of a contract with the Washington State Healthcare Authority for $239,327 in criminal justice treatment account funds. CJTA is a state funding source created by state law in 2002 for individuals, to serve individuals with justice involvement who have a substance use disorder. Locally, those funds have been used primarily by our drug court, with a little bit being used by the Office of Public Defense. For the past few years, the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization has administered this funding. Earlier this year, related to sort of broader changes in behavioral health, the state asked all counties if they wanted to take the administration of those funds into the county or leave it with the BHO. You all made a decision to move that over to public health, so that contract is before you now. The statute sets out that the specific spending should be determined by a local CJTA panel, and the statute names certain members of that panel. So that panel will be meeting soon to kind of review and refine and update as needed the spending plan. Questions?
Any questions for Carrie?
No, I don't. Thank you very much, Carrie.
I don't either, Carrie. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for what you're doing for his, TST also.
What's that?
Thank you so much for what you do with TST.
Of
Oh, you
course.
bet.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the Washington State Health Care Authority Division of Behavioral Health Program County Agreement number 1863-34846 to provide substance use disorder treatment and recovery support services to those involved in the criminal justice system for a total maximum amount of $239,327 for the duration of July 1, 2018 through June 30, 2019, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments that do not revise the approved dollar amount or duration of the agreement by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and your motion carries. Thank you very much, Carrie.
Thank you.
You bet. Next, for the Public Health and Social Services is 4B, and it's the approval of an interlocal agreement, amendment number 2, to the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families contract, which is 1053-02. We have Gretchen Toller to give us a little bit of background on that.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. I am here to seek approval of the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families amendment to our contract for NFP services in Thurston and Mason County. You may remember on September 18th, the board approved this amendment, but due to the adjustment in funding amounts, we're bringing this back for approval. This amendment is for another year of NFP services for an increase of $624,183.55 for a total contract amount of $1,106,157.02 over the 2017 to 2018 year and now 2018 to 2019 year. And this provides nurse family partnership services to 35 families in Mason County and 52 families in Thurston County.
Any comments for Gretchen?
No, keep up the good work, Gretchen.
Thank you very much.
That's 87 families.
Yeah. Yeah, the one.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
In 3 counties, though.
Yeah. Nothing else. Thank you, Gretchen.
Superb work. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve interlocal agreement amendment number 2 to the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families, previously known as Washington State Department of Early Learning. Contract number 18-1053, increasing the contract by $624,183.55 for a revised total maximum consideration not to exceed $1,106,157.02 for an amended termination date of July 31, 2019, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments that do not revise the approved dollar amount or duration of the contract by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and your motion carries. Thank you, Gretchen. So next we have number 5, which is from the Community Planning and Economic Development, and we have to set a public hearing on the renewal of interim marijuana regulations. Ordinance number 14944 as amended, and Allison Osterberger is from that department, and she's going to give us the update and the background on what we're doing here.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Allison Osterberg, a senior planner with the Thurston County's Community Planning and Economic Development Department. And yes, I am here today to request the board set a public hearing to renew the interim marijuana regulations. The county has been operating under interim marijuana regulations for where marijuana can be operations can be permitted in the county since 2013, when we have which came after the state approved legalizing marijuana operations in 2012. When we operate under interim regulations, we need to bring them back for renewal every 6 months. And the interim regulations were last renewed on May 1st and were made effective on May 8th. They will expire on November 8th, and that's why we're back in front of you. The board is still working through developing final regulations. And so until we do that, we're continuing to renew the interim regulations. So we're requesting the board to set a public hearing for October 30th, 2018 at 5:30 in this room, and we'll set out all the normal notification that we typically do. There are no substantive changes being proposed, that we're just renewing the existing interim regulations that we have right now, and the board we're continuing to work with you guys on the permanent set, but for now we're just kind of keeping things the same until we have the permanent ready to go.
Sure. Any questions of Allison?
Thank you, no.
No, ma'am.
Good job, Allison.
I move to set a public hearing for October 30, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building Number 1 in Room 280 to accept public comment on the renewal of Ordinance Number 14944 as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so your motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Allison. Item number 6 is from the Public Defense, and we have Patrick O'Connor, who is the Director of the Public Defense for Thurston County, on the interlocal agreement amendment for the City of Tumwater Indigent Defense Legal Services. This is a cool deal, isn't it?
It is. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm happy to be here today and move the board to authorize the Director of Thurston County Public Defense, myself, to execute an amended contract between Thurston County and the City of Tumwater for 2019 and 2020 to provide indigent defense services for the City of Tumwater. We've had this contract for the past 5 years. It's set to expire this year. The City of Tumwater would like to extend our services for the next 2 years, along with the court and the prosecuting attorney. So this is an amendment. The sum's not to exceed $608,700 over the next 2 years. That funds 3 FTEs in my office, 2 attorneys, 1 legal assistant. It also covers experts, investigations, and conflict counsel, those costs associated. So I'd ask the board to authorize myself, it sounds weird to say that.
That's all right.
The authority to execute.
Public Defense.
Pardon?
Or the Director of Public Defense.
Or the Director of Public Defense to execute this contract. And as I mentioned this morning, I think it's worth noting and acknowledging the City of Tumwater has invested in their community in providing high-quality public defense, and we're happy to provide that service.
Very admirable. You're right.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions for Patrick?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
Excellent work.
All right, is there a motion?
I move to amend and approve the July 1, 2013 interlocal agreement between Thurston County Public Defense and the City of Tumwater for indigent defense legal services, and authorize the Director of Public Defense to execute the amendment.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so your motion carries, Patrick.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You bet. Next is the Superior Courts, which is number 7, the Drug Court Treatment Services Contract. And we do not have Sabrina here. We have Elsa, yes. Elsa's going to give us a background on the contract, and the next one after that is the disorder treatment provider, but we'll talk about the contract first.
Okay, good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here. I am here to request 2 interrelated matters.
Sure.
The first is an extension of the current treatment services contract that we have with Pierce County Alliance to provide substance use disorder treatment to the participants in our drug court program. The annual cost of that is $631,321 that is currently budgeted. We are just asking for an extension to November 30th in order to allow us to conduct a request for proposal. The second part is the request for proposal for the substance use disorder, and we would like to have authorization to go ahead and publish that request to select apparently successful vendor and to enter into a contract. Thank you.
All right, any questions of Elsa?
No, thank you.
Elsa, thank you very much.
Let's just do one, and then we'll do the other ones separately, okay? So
Drug court
7A
treatment,
first.
you're right. This is the, I move to approve an extension of the drug court treatment provider contract from December 1, 2017 to November 30, 2018. The extension amount is $631,321.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. And then 7B is the proposal.
I move to authorize Superior Court to advertise a request for proposals for a substance use disorder treatment provider for the DUI drug court.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so those motions carry. Thank you so much, Elsa.
Thank you very
It's
much.
good to see
Thanks,
you again.
Elsa.
Number 8 is from Public Works, and Scott Lindblom here, a county engineer, is going to tell us a little bit about the Transportation Improvement Program, in particular setting a public hearing in around the 30 October timeframe, correct?
Great. Thank you for your time this afternoon, Commissioners. As mentioned, I'm Scott Lindblom, the county engineer. This item today is to request a reschedule of a public hearing to take public comments on the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program we call the TIP. Last week I came to you to request a public hearing date. However, today is to request a new public hearing date. Pursuant to RCW 36-81-121, the board is required to adopt a 6-year Transportation Improvement Program. The TIP itself is a comprehensive document that consolidates legislative requirements into one single document. Some of the highlights of that TIP include an outline of our regulatory and legal requirements that guide our program, the county road revenues and expenditures. It includes a discussion of how we prioritize our different transportation projects, includes our annual road program, the 6-year program, called the 2019 to 2024 Transportation Improvement Program. Tying under that is the 20-year capacity projects list, and finally it includes the 2018 annual bridge report. The TIP is an essential tool for us to help us effectively plan and manage the county's road system, perhaps the county's biggest investment, valued at nearly $1 billion. The proposed program continues to be qualified based on the availability of funding, and one which is minimal given the needs of the county. The proposed program will be made available to the Chambers of Commerce, local jurisdictions, community groups, neighborhood groups, and will be posted on the Public Works website. The 6-year TIP is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and initiative to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure for a thriving community. I provided an overview of the TIP to the Board of County Commissioners on September 12, 2018. I'm requesting a public hearing date be set for 3:00 p.m. October 30th, 2018, or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard. This will provide the opportunity for the public to comment and provide those comments to you. This request meets the requirements of RCW 36-81-130.
Any questions of Scott?
No, thank you, Scott.
No, sir.
That's the best tip.
I move, Mr. Chair, to set a public hearing for October 30, 2018 at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard in room 280, building 1 of the Thurston County Courthouse, 2000 Lake Ridge Drive, Southwest Olympia, Washington, to formally receive testimony and consider the proposed 6-year transportation improvement program for the calendar years 2019 through 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Scott. Okay, that brings us to item number 9, which is the Commissioners and County Managers items. And 9A is where Commissioners can report out on any sessions or assignment committees or just anything in the general public they see that they'd like to chat about, talk about. Do you have anything?
I guess I'll just give a brief overview of the week. Attended the Economic Development Council meeting, which talked, the main focus was transit, quite interesting. Worked on the Wyra 13, which is the Deschutes watershed, the Nisqually River. Attended meetings there. tried to get to the bottom of the Thurston Conservation District and what's going on there so we can come up with some type of a solution. Attended a seminar in Yelm over the Hearst decision hosted by the Washington State Department of Ecology. Chamber meeting in Yelm, and then the rest of the week was involved around clean water, mostly around nitrogen, pesticide, and pharmaceuticals. That was my week.
Good, very good. How about you, sir?
This is just real brief. Imagine that. At Joint Animal Services, the executive director has left and taken a job with the state. And so the city of Lacey is in search, and now they're beating their footwork, looking for a new executive director. So with animal services in mind, in 2011, an author named Garth Stein wrote a book called The Art of Racing in the Rain. I found it to be a most excellent book, and if you have read it, you'll probably agree, and if you haven't, I encourage you to read it. That's it.
Okay, I thought that was big. Busy week. Some of the things I'll highlight is that we had the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization hosted a forum, a 2-day forum out at the fairgrounds. And on the second day, I was able to give opening remarks. And the forum was mostly a general discussion on where we're at in the mental health and substance abuse issues, specifically opioids. And tons of community members came to participate in it. A lot of sponsors, guest speakers, all kind of subject matter experts. Mr. Thunheim came and gave a little bit of overview of the task force for opioids here we have here in Thurston County and the resolution that we read. It's just a really good turnout to see how people were very involved with opioids and other substances, but and the behavioral health issues that go along with that. So just to let you know that that's out there, that was going on. I attended the Thurston County Sheriff's Office awards ceremony here just below us in the other room in 152. Really love to pay tribute to them. They put their lives on the line all the time for us to be safe and secure in the unincorporated or any other part of the county when necessary. So 24/7 jobs, 365 days a week. And with deputies or correction officers, we really keep our place safe. And with no good department is no good without the staff and support. If you've ever been to one of those awards, and all open to the public, you should come and see it. It is very, very emotionally driven. And oh, by the way, they do promotions and what have you, and families come. It's a very good experience for anybody to see. So, and in light of that, we also had the jail population crisis action team. Learned a whole lot of good stuff that's been happening over in the courts area of the courthouse and with the prosecuting attorney and the public defense. A lot of good reform that's occurring with the First Look program is one particular thing where we look at things way ahead of time before they ever get to trial. And then we have the FLIP program, which helps with reducing the populations of felons in the jail as far as the overall population. Moving really good in the right direction as far as that. I can speak to that over the last 4 years. The first year I was here in office, it was extremely frustrating. We couldn't even have a conversation. Now we're all one good team moving, and reducing that jail population is designed to keep the cost down and take care of the general public as a whole. And with that, see the Hazardous Weather Task Force. We met. The Hazardous Task Force Weather is a team that put together during 1st of November through the 30th of April. It's kind of in betweener, if you will, because it's the plan to those who, when Mother Nature has a super cold time frame or super bad weather like flooding or what have you, say for 96 hours or less, we formed this task force, what we call Code Blue, where we surge on certain agencies or nonprofits here in the local area and or ask jurisdictions to donate a building for a very short period of time. It may not seem a lot, but it's super important to be able to help those who are in need at that time. And it's not designed to do any kind of sheltering or any long-term subsistence or what have you, but it's really just about a place to go for 96 hours or less and save lives. And then we put everything back together and wait to see how Mother Nature deals with us another term, maybe a week or 2 weeks or a month down the road. But it also is connected to a larger portion of the Housing Action Team and some of the homeless 5-year plan and those things that are associated with that. So it's kind of connected but separate in the same sense. But it's very successful to have that Code Blue program going. So with that in mind, I'll turn to Romero and see if he has anything to say.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your upcoming schedule for the upcoming week. And the report will include all the appointments that at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. As I said, this is the season. This is the season for budget review and budget development. You started that process yesterday, 9 o'clock. So moving on to tomorrow, Wednesday, October 3rd, starting at 9 o'clock, you will have a budget review, as well as until 11:45. And then you'll convene again at 1:15 until 4 o'clock to continue with the budget presentations. This week is what we call is the restricted funds, and that's what you will be reviewing this week. Thursday, October 4th, also you have budget presentations at 9 o'clock. That will take you to 11:45 in the morning. You will break for lunch, and you will come back at 1:15 on Thursday until 4:30 to continue with budget presentations. Similar for October 5th, Friday, 9 o'clock, budget presentations until 11:30. You will break for lunch, and you'll come back at 1:30 to continue with the budget presentations. Moving on to Monday, October 8th, at 9 in the morning, you have a continue meeting with next meeting related to the Civic Center Courthouse project, and that is a meeting with folks from the City of Olympia as well as internal stakeholders. And at that point, we'll give you an indication as to the progress of this particular project. And at 1 in the afternoon on Monday, October 8th, you have the Community Investment Partnership CIP, which I believe Commissioner Hutchins attend that meeting. That's all I have for you today.
All righty. Well, any questions of the county manager or anybody
No.
else?
No, sir.
With that in mind, I ask if there's a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn the Tuesday, October 2nd, 2018 Board of County Commissioners meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned.